GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Yeah, welcome everybody. We had to go live a day late, 24 hours late. Oh, what's going on? Any audio? Is this working? No, that was this. Okay, now we have audio and video. Do we have audio? Is there audio? Are we back to audio? Are we back to audio? Get this shock button ready to go. Okay. Let's see if we got audio. Any feedback? I'm telling you, you better start being a better co-host. Oh man, how are we gonna test this? Let's go over here. Testing. Here, let's push the buzzers on these. How do I turn the shock collar on? Testing. Okay. All right, so it works. We're starting the show off today, doing our Instagram show a day late. It's not his fault, but we've installed 3 separate shock collars on him today. So we're going to have a much better co-host today than in other shows. So we'll try this show out today with with a well-behaved co-host. But we'll be taking a look at Instagram today. So share that screen. Do you think that the people who don't think dogs should be on chats would be okay with dogs with 3 shock collars on a chat? Come on, quit playing around over here, buddy. Okay, back to raw. All right, so we're taking a look at Instagram. We do this each week. Yesterday I couldn't do it because of some things, so we're going to do it today. And this is our Instagram. We had Puppy's favorite Prime stuff from Prime Day yesterday. Thanks everybody who participated in the Amazon Prime situation and purchased stuff over there. If you did, through our links, we do appreciate it. You can do that anytime. Our friend Gizzard is out there. He's also got an Amazon store, as does She Fire, as I believe. So thanks to everybody who, if you're buying stuff on Amazon, the world's largest store, for purchasing stuff through our links. We do appreciate it. So we had a show about that yesterday, and then Puppy swimming in the water. Thanks to the robots, we had a show about bacon and stuff the other day, and I'm clicking on the wrong screen here. There's the little puppy, the co-host with Riding Shotgun with Charlie from the Gun Rights Policy Conference. So that's our channel, but what we're going to be taking a look at here isn't our stuff, because our stuff isn't all that Second Amendment related recently, actually. So we're going to be taking a look at stuff that is interesting over on Instagram, and it's stuff that we have found throughout the last week or so, and we'll focus on it here. We do this live on YouTube, one, to get the information out on the internet more than just on Instagram, as people may or may not know, a lot of the platforms are being really weird about sharing channels and posts, but also to bring up some of the concepts and things. There's people that just aren't on YouTube, and if they're only on Instagram, let's get their ideas and their information around. Also, just to kind of help catch up with what's going on in the community. And our other show like this is on Friday nights at midnight Eastern, so that might be too late for some people. So this is sort of an attempt to have a double-barreled awareness attempt. Is that the way to say it? All right, so today is the 12th, and this is from the 4th. So that is close enough for government work. We're going to go ahead and just move on. She Fires is out there. Good afternoon. And you're saying what's on his neck? I just got a bunch of these dog collars to review. I'm hoping a lot of these are made in Tucson. But anyway, so I don't know if these are, but some dog collars are made in Tucson. When I turned this one on, all it did is vibrate. So I'm wondering if some of these are vibration collars, which aren't as bad. They scared the shit out of me. But I don't know. I still haven't played with all of them. And these have rubber things on them. So I'm guessing those are vibration ones also. But some of these might be bark collars. I got them loose, so I don't really know what they are. I'm going to have to research it and discover it. But the good news is none of the remotes work. So even if I wanted to zap them with them, the remotes don't work. So they're just for show. It's his Halloween costume. He wears 3-shot collars now because he's that tough. He's that much of a bad dog. Anyway, let's keep moving. Thanks for showing up. And then, as always, it is possible to interact with the show and make this puppy fat, or at least try to make him fat. Let's do this. A lot of people are going to be... I should put a warning on the screen for all the people that hate seeing a dog on the screen. But you can tell that he's about to eat something because he's got his little eating alert display out there. All right, here we go. That's how you feed them drugs, a hemp element. There's only about 4 left of those, so he's going to be running out of those soon. Let's go back to putting this on the screen and going back to this. So we're looking at Paul Howe. If you don't know who this is, think about the movie, what do they call that movie now? Black Hawk Down? And so Paul Howe is one of the people that was there in the real life. So after all that, he became a instructor, and Gun Culture 2.0 is the Professor Yamane from one of the Carolinas, and he must have taken a Paul Howe course at some point, and I'm guessing those two had an interesting conversation. Paul is Delta, so he's a very pragmatic, and he takes the shooting and defense very systematically. So CSAT is combat shooting and tactics, his school, and very cool, very professional. So it would be great to have been in a room watching these two have a conversation or talk to a professor after chatting with Paul Howe. All right, let's keep going though. So then Gun Owners Radio, using a Jackie Chan meme. I can't even imagine living in California. Can you imagine living in California? Take a moment and think about what it would be like living in California. Not quite chaos, but they're certainly getting abused over there, as gun owners at least. And even the people that aren't gun owners, they're being taken advantage of as well, obviously, because they have, holy moly, they have good intentions, but their their good intentions are being exploited and uh, not fulfilled. They're not even attempting to satisfy what those people want, which is an end to violence, an end to suffering, and deaths and stuff. And there's ways to do that by taking a look at what the deaths are and how they're being created and the circumstances that create them. Everyone understands mitigating circumstances. Nobody's unaware of that yet with guns. All you look at is the end product. I mean, it's just they're being manipulated. So everybody in California is being screwed with. And again, it's got to be very difficult. I was just sitting here minding my business. My hand is in about this position, and I had like a lightning pain cramp thing go through my finger. Holy moly. Out of nowhere, just sitting here minding my business. I wasn't even moving my finger. So next up is FPC. Oh, looks like Mallow came back inside. What are you coming inside for? She's insane. All right, so district court has determined that we are likely to succeed in stopping the ATF. It has blocked the government from enforcing the rule against plaintiffs and their families, Maxim Defense and its customers, FPC, and all of its members. Did it? Because this is a week ago. Honestly, this goes back and forth, and to some extent, just hearing the blow-by-blow, play-by-play, sometimes we need to have a commentary that's not just useless, so that we can kind of be aware of where we're at with these things. I still say a national scoreboard to understand, some symbols on it, so that we can get used to the different fights that we've got and the layers of fights that we got. Once we're aware of what's out there, we can start to utilize our own individual resources and effort to challenge and negate their attacks, and we'd be much further ahead than we are listening to the play-by-play, occasionally giving a call to action that usually includes paying them fucking $30 and then sitting back down. Alan Anker did this series of lava lamps. I knew they did these, and they glow and stuff. They're pretty good. They're not made in China, and they're not made in Pakistan. So what does that mean? They're made in Europe. So these patches are super high quality. And one of the perks you get when you have a relation with your factory, like Alan Anker has, after doing so many patches with them, is they're able to do stuff like this. And it says that their lava lamp patches are, they're different. Each one of them is a little different. So
one is unique, a little bit different than the rest. Checking out our lava lamp patch. Each one is unique, a little bit different. Checking out our lava lamp.
I never noticed. That's pretty cool. They make like a ton of molds, or they did something crazy with the mold in order to be able to do that. But they've done that a couple of times with colors and tie-dye effects and things. But I didn't realize that they did it with the design also. She Fires is saying someone in Cali won the Powerball again. Right on. Let's see. Did you put a pup Halloween costume on your store? He's got a hot dog costume. I think that's. Oh no, he has a hot dog costume and like a dragon or something. Alligator. I don't know. It's probably an alligator because it doesn't have wings on it. So I got him an alligator one time, and then he's got a hot dog. I can make both of them into hot dogs now because I bought one hot dog and it was kind of big for him, and then I found a second hot dog that fits him. So now I can cram the big hot dog. She'll look like she has a tiny hot dog on her, and then he'll look like he has a normal size hot dog on him, and they can go around being hot dog sandwiches together. So this is autoloader. Moon food is some of your, and another shout out to the actual Instagrammers, the people that take photographs of guns and appreciate it, take time to take pictures of guns and not pictures of accessories or whatever they're paid to, but instead just taking pictures of guns for the aesthetic of the gun and not for the sales pitch or the shill. Ka-ching.
Like in China, I mean, you don't see resistance to this one monopoly rule of the Communist Party. Why? Because people don't have the means to resist. You have to obey. And then the second reason I mentioned earlier is that the violent criminals, they're going to keep their guns. And then there's the black market. I mean, if you think that that the war on drugs, which involves a black market in drugs, is violent, wait till you see a black market in guns. I mean, you're going to see massive violence with cartels and so forth, and an underground sales of guns, like in China. I mean, you don't see, resistance to.
So this is the Forge of Freedom podcast. I've been listening to that one on the regular now. Alex Uli out of Indiana, I think, an attorney there, doing a podcast that's focused on
we know about
freedom and firearms. So next, and that was a conversation with,
like in China,
Jacob Hornberger, The Tyranny of Gun Control. It says the futility of eliminating guns, and there's a link there. So that must be his book is called The Tyranny of Gun Control. And it says the right to own firearms is one of the most fundamental inherent rights. Not only do individuals have the natural right to property, they have the basic right to defend themselves. Most importantly, the right to defend themselves from the oppressive acts of their government. The book shows why gun control is an enormous threat to liberty. Must read for the concern. The book shows the gun control poses an enormous threat. Okay, so that is a good point, though, about the black markets that would be developed. Nobody pays attention to the alternative. They want something changed, but they don't understand what the circumstances will be once their idea of change takes place. They naively assume that everything remains the same and they get what they want, when in reality, nothing remains the same and everything changes. And essentially all they do is take away a potential threat to the criminal and potentially enhance or encourage more crime. So at least they don't even acknowledge that's an option. Or else they're resolved to it and they're interested in that result. In either case, it's reckless or not paying attention. So messages to try to get that across are probably necessary, but how effective they've been, not at all. So it's either because it's not reaching them or it's not reaching them because they don't want to hear it, or it's not reaching them because it doesn't get to their ears. But we can work on both of those, right? Maybe not the same person doing both, but we can definitely work on both of those avenues. All right, now let's get to Maj, and it says here, just in case some of you with no context don't know what we are, what we do, what our mission is, the ability to be objective and critique both so-called sides of this authoritarian bird has a few confused. This video should clarify. So I suspect Maj gets shit for both sides for being kind of not so much in the middle as aware of what both sides are doing and not hiding behind shit or not ignoring shit.
We know about Black Lives Matter, but there's also a group called Black Guns Matter, started by Maj Toure.
Everybody's Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, except when it's time for black people to defend their lives.
Toure says freedom's everything. To defend his freedom, he carries a gun wherever he goes.
This is my human right. And if anybody wants to come chase me down about that, let's go to court.
He wants others to arm themselves, especially people who live in high crime neighborhoods. You want to put more guns in the very neighborhoods where there are the most shootings.
Listen, evil will persist. The only thing that's going to stop evil are good, solid people strong enough to stop them.
His group sells shirts that say, "Make criminals afraid again."
Absolutely. Criminals should be deathly afraid. If you're robbing people and carjacking, I want you to know that we're going to arm our community to deal with you very, very properly.
More guns in the hands of citizens, he says, deters criminals and leads to less crime. There is evidence for that. More guns.
Why do they pick Lot for this? Everybody hates Lot and everybody disputes his number. Lot out as if he's our only resource.
May lead to less crime, but they'll also lead to more accidental shooting.
That's under the assumption that those gun owners aren't getting training.
That's the break. Instead of letting it go all the way up.
Training is what Toure does.
Instead of up, you want those thumbs forward. Boom.
Years ago, he held his first Black Guns Matter event in Philadelphia. You expected 30 people. How many showed up?
300, and we had to feed them all. and it was beautiful.
His group now teaches classes all around America.
We're teaching absolute beginners that want to know how to be safe and responsible firearms owners.
If you're threatened, he says, you need a gun and need to know how to use it.
No one's coming to save me. I have to save and protect myself and my family myself.
I'm the bad guy. I'm coming to kill you because I want that sweet bandana you got. What do? You don't have a gun.
I got trouble, man.
You die. Or you have a firearm and you say, don't move.
His classes are popular.
The number of black gun owners is surging.
Last year, almost all gun stores said they increased sales to black people.
These aren't the faces we normally see when the U.S. talks about gun rights.
The fastest growing group of gun buyers is now blacks. Patting yourself on the back.
I made it so.
What, you made it so?
Absolutely.
Would have happened anyway.
We said in 2015, 2016, we wanted the black community to be the largest gun buying demographic in America.
Why do you want it to be the largest group?
Because gun control is racist.
Why is gun control racist?
It was literally started to stop black people from having the means to defend themselves.
That's true. Some colonies passed special rules that banned gun ownership by black people. Before the Civil War, Tennessee changed its constitution to say only free white men have a right to bear arms. Virginia declared it illegal for free blacks to carry any firelock.
All gun control is racist.
Later, when local governments wouldn't protect black people, many took up arms to protect themselves. There was less lynching where blacks owned guns.
Ain't doing it to black communities that's armed.
Toure says gun control is still racist. It's still racist now?
Absolutely. Let's take the state of California. If you live in Oakland, if you live in Compton, the chances of you getting a license to carry, even though the Second Amendment is clear, right, is very little. But if you live in Brentwood, if you live in Orange County, if you live in Beverly Hills, the issue rate for that license to carry goes up.
In addition,
who's arrested more for firearms possession? Not robbery, not rape, not homicide, black and brown folks. The narrative that anyone with a firearm is a bad guy is a pervasive theme, especially if you are in an urban environment and if you happen to be black.
That's a reason Toure teaches people follow the rules and communicate with law enforcement.
If you don't articulate these things very well, it's very easy for corrupt portions or ignorant portions of law enforcement or other people to just think it's bad.
If you don't articulate it, if you don't say, yeah, I have a gun to protect myself.
Boom. And this is where the double standard lies. White folks don't got to articulate their position in the same way.
Toure repeatedly refers to the Second Amendment's right to keep and bear arms.
All of the facts and the data are in favor of respect for the Second Amendment, especially in the black community.
So Maj is out there essentially doing it himself. I don't know if he's got a crew or not, but now he's doing some stuff with, I guess you could say, putting his money where his mouth is, as he mentioned in there. If somebody wanted to come at him, they could take him to court, and it sounds like that's happening. So he's at a place, it sounds like, from other posts that he's trying to raise funds for all of the rest of this year and next year so that he can go spend his time dealing with that court case. So if you're interested and you like what he's putting down over here and what he's accomplished, you can also look at a track record, then consider throwing down. They've got a couple of different ways. I know they've had trouble with the major or the mainstream crowdfunding ones. I think he's with Give Send Go, but I don't want to assume shit. So go over there and check out if you want to fundraise with him or purchase something at the store. He has a store.
Hi everyone, this is.
So next we're chatting with, or we'll look at Walk Talk America, and I guess this probably is over at this point. Oops.
America, and today I want to talk to you about the Walk the Talk America sweepstakes, which you can now enter to show your support for WTTA and get a chance to win some awesome prizes, which I can't say the names of, but you can check them out by going to the link that's provided in this post. And let's just say they represent freedom, they go bang, and they're basically the focal point of the 2A. I think you know what I'm getting at here. But if you donate $20, you enter our gold tier for prizes that go bang up to $600. And if you donate $40, you enter our platinum tier for prizes up to $1,000. And for every 65 entries, we will be drawing a winner. So your chances of winning one of these things is pretty damn good. And there's no limit to how many times you can enter. So please feel free to support us as much as possible and maybe get something back for it. I want to take a second to thank everyone that has supported our mission over the past 5 years. And it's because of you we've been able to fund our programs that save lives and bring mental health and 2A communities together. We've definitely made a difference. So we really, really need your help on this to continue to do that in the future. The sweepstakes is open now, and you'll be able to donate until October 8th at midnight Eastern time. And every time you donate, once again, you secure your chance to win one of these great prizes that goes bang. Please help support our mission and share this message as much as possible. The more eyes on that, the better. Once again, I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. It's because of you that we've been able to do this for the past 5 years. And once again, I can't stress how much we have made a difference in the community. Thank you. Hi, everyone. This is Michael Sedini with Walk the Talk America.
So, as I'm listening to this, I'm thinking how frustrating it must be for each individual organization to need to champion the skill set to become a fundraiser, and then have to depend on their success of that, or their abilities there, for their success or their ultimate ability to do what they passion, the actual skill set to do, and how we as a community are not filled in that role. There's people and organizations that know how to make money, but it isn't, that skill set isn't shared, and their usefulness seems to apply just to themselves. So it'd be neat to see collaboration or some sort of a platform that, how hard would it be to have a place that funds the projects that are of value so that they don't have to need to do their own thing. Now, if they're doing a way to and raise membership, then I don't think that was their goal. So anyway, I think it's over now, though. It was a 5. So before I go on to Melody, we'll go back. So I'm not going to play that whole thing, but that was on whatever that one guy's show is, I guess. It means it was on national TV. Is that what that means? But this is when you were talking about when I had Maj on. I'm not sold on that guy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm back and forth on Maj, but at the same time, there's boots on the ground. Is doing anything, and he's buying a building, or he's in the process of purchasing, and he's doing it in a way that is half-ass. He's buying the damn building to create a place for secondary edition and development and stuff. So, in addition, guns is a chunk. It's like a foundation piece of it, but it's certainly not the only thing he's doing. And that's the real answer. It's not just giving everybody a fucking gun. That's their right, and everybody can have a gun if they want. But the real deal is getting everybody to just how to value their role in society and what society can bring to them. So everybody can do everything. Once people have something to do, they've got something that they enjoy and they're valued, and they have things that they value, and there's some commerce. Capitalism kicks in. People ain't shitting all over stuff. So that's how you accomplish change. You do that on the ground. You can't regulate or delegate that. You can go do that, and not a few people I know of that's actually doing it in a place where it actually matters. And I don't even know how many people have ability, let alone drive an initiative to do it, let alone on the streets. Doing it perfect. Personally, I'm not a fan of the shirts. Watch these shows where about the islands of the mountains, I guess, of fast fashion or whatever words of it, where we just create all mass clothes. We use one fad, and then we get rid of it, and then it just goes somewhere in somebody's How many shirts can somebody wear? It's into giant piles. Kind of as a planet, we're just being dumb with clothes. And when you have to wash that many clothes, that's an issue. So, the people that want to bitch at you for your car ain't looking at their own clothes. They're not looking at their makeup or their shampoo or their wash machines. But trust me, nothing we do is efficient. So there's shit with Maj that I would do differently. I'm sure he would too. I'm sure he would much rather have some sort of like sheep on the roofs of Philadelphia that make wool for somebody who turns it into clothes that he can use to sell, so that it's locally sourced and built in the community or something. But until that's a reality, he's got to do what he's got to do. And shirts do get the point across, especially in a very visual, film oriented or photo oriented culture that we've got at the moment. He's got his finger on the pulse and he's doing it. Like I said, I'm not 100% on everything he's doing, but anyway, that's my take on it. But I'm not trying to sell you nothing. I just want to help get the word out about him and his situation, because he is also, I don't know the story, I just know from the post that he sounds like he's going to court for actually living the life. And everybody talks shit about what they would do, but he's going to court to deal with it. And he also is trying to keep this other shit going. You know how easy it is to fucking stop doing shit? It's really easy to stop doing shit. So the fact that he's doing it, and he's doing it with the way he's doing it, like fucking right on. I'm down. So anyway,
Hi, everyone.
Then there's Walk Talk America. Then we get to Citizens Defense. This is Lima Life. I mean, I don't know, people. There's probably nobody listening to this that remembers Lima Life ever, but here we go.
Let's talk about establishing meeting places for kids if there's an emergency or you get separated in the stores that you most commonly go to. I really like garden centers because, one, they are so prevalent in a lot of stores. They're in almost every single Walmart. They're in almost every single Target. They're also in home goods stores like this, like Lowe's. They're in a lot of grocery stores. So they're prevalent everywhere. Two, they're easily identifiable even for young kids. Hey, go to the place with all the plants. Three, they provide some kind of coverage sometimes. There's things that they can hide in. And they're not heavily trafficked areas in general. But lastly, and most importantly, they're often next to really large exits. So if you should go there and be able to collect your child, you can get out of the store really quickly. So those are some reasons I really like establishing garden centers as meeting places in the event of an emergency if you get separated from your child, or you just need to tell your child, hey, run and hide in that place that we talked about.
Boom. That's the kind of outside the box mom talk that you get with people that have been doing this like for decades. It's pretty cool. This one's from a volunteer site I watch, or a page I guess I watch. They didn't even have any comments to it, but kind of self-explanatory for people that ride on the backs of other people and then usually bitch and complain when they gotta smell or wait or have to do anything that bothers them.
Man, Miami, Florida, October 21st and the 22nd. We got 2 classes coming your way, and I got a couple of bonus deals for you. One, on the 21st, we are going to be running at EP1 RDS. That's Evolved Pistol 1 RDS. So, if you've ever been interested in understanding how to truly run a red dot on top of a gun and everything that goes into it, this is the class for you. If you sign up for the RDS class, I'm going to give you $50 off any red dot that we have in stock at nootherchoice.com. Hold on, Miami. It gets better. Evolve Rifle 1 is the following day. That's going to be Sunday, the 22nd. Evolve Rifle 1. Here's the beautiful thing about that. Bring your rifle out. If you need one, let us know. Bring your rifle out. If you don't have a rifle, it gets even better. Or if you do and you're looking for another one, it gets even better. So, this is a tactical life build, my custom SBR build from them. But guess what they're going to do for you? Everyone that signs up for that Evolve Rifle 1 class is going to get $50 off any tactical life rifle that they choose. All right, Miami, so don't miss out. We're going to be at Homestead Training Center. This is a great opportunity.
So KD's doing classes now, just throwing that out because KD's doing good stuff also. And for people that are paying attention, the evolution of folks, look at the way that KD's doing his thing and moving to Georgia and the way he's going. And I'm assuming this is on Greenwood. This is filmed on Greenwood.
Instead,
So Forge of Freedom had Jeff on to talk about NRA, and I'll let a chunk of this play. I don't have anything to worry about today. I'm usually doing this show on Wednesday as an opening act for the Cape Gunworks Rapid Fire Radio show, but that's not on today, I don't think. So unless they pushed everything back a day like I am, I don't have to. I can just go long, I guess. I guess I could get some work done today, but it's always good to act like I'm doing something important. But anyway, I'll let this play for a bit because I like Jeff, and he's got good ambitions. Him and a bunch of other people are going to vote or are going to run for board of NRA with the goal intention of reducing the number of people on the NRA board and to shine light on things that the couple of people who are running it like jerks are keeping hidden and keeping under wraps, or at least confusing the issues on. And a lot of people want to work for Bloomberg for free and just watch the NRA burn. I'd rather see the NRA as an opportunity for the community to challenge the few people that are running it poorly and to grab it back, like you would expect a bunch of people who are able and not completely unable to accomplish, and then run it the way people would expect a board-driven. So I'm not sure what part of the conversation Jeff talks about here, but again, they have people who have there are a couple of people with well thought out ambitions and directions that have a potential to bring it back to course. And here's a piece of that conversation.
An article at that time saying that they had two choices. They can either do this and then stand naked before the court and say, here we are, we've fixed all of these problems, we've gotten rid of the people who caused these problems, and we've established this for going forward. Court, what do you say? Let's fix this. And at that point, I think that everything would have been fine. We would have taken a hit, problems, and we would have had to prove to the membership that we now had things back on track, and we were dotting every I and crossing every T. But as I said in that article, their other option would be to circle around Wayne LaPierre, circle the wagons around Wayne, and continue circling straight down the drain. And that's the one that they chose. Instead, and I have an article at that time saying that they had two choices. They can either this and then stand.
So at that point in the article, obviously he's talking about the NRA's actions or what they ended up doing with the New York court case.
Governor Nat Lamont pushed out an extensive gun violence prevention package this year. Now, in that package, there are 4 laws that will go into effect on Sunday. One law that takes effect Sunday bans openly carrying pistols. There will also be a limit on how many guns you can buy. The new law allows up to 3 per month.
It lowers the chance that people will go and buy unlimited amounts of guns.
Another law that will go into effect involves safely storing firearms. All weapons must be stored safely no matter who lives in your home.
Criminals acquire firearms illegally, and the response to this is to restrict the legal means to acquire a firearm.
Lily is a convicted felon. She wants a firearm. She can't buy it legitimately because she's a convicted felon. She has to buy it off of the street. So when Lilia tells Jace, I need a firearm, he refers her to Rashawn. So Jace hears from Lilia, I want to buy a gun. I'm a convicted felon. She hooks him up with Rashawn. Rashawn's in Bartow now. So Lilia and Rashawn meet up at a Circle K, and guess what? Rashawn sells Lilia a gun. So here's the gun that Rashawn sells to Lilia. Did I happen to mention to you that the gun is stolen in a burglary out of Lakeland where Rashawn's suspected of committing the burglary? They negotiate the price. Lilia agrees to paying $200. So now Lilia has a gun.
When the right that you want to restrict and take away is the very right that's used to protect people. It's the way that people are able to protect themselves. So you want to, in one breath, take away firearms from criminals. And in order to do that, you want to take away guns from the law-abiding people, even though the criminals are acquiring their guns illegally. But the people who are acquiring the guns legally are acquiring them to protect themselves. So now what you've effectively done is you've made the situation worse. And that's what happens when you allow irrational emotions to decide policy.
Governor.
I don't know. So, that's Coleon getting his point across. Editing differently than FPC, certainly different than NRA's messaging, and I don't know his deal. I don't think he's getting paid by nobody, so I believe he's doing this for the fact of doing it, right? Like these kind of posts are useful and they reach people, right, in a different way than FPC, in a different way than the other people that are trying to message out there at a national level, I'd say. But there's no commercial on here. I mean, there's no link in here that says like buy something or new grip angle or whatever. Oh no, he's got his own merchandise. I mean, that's not a big deal. It's shirts or whatever. So, unless the guy's making $1 zillion on shirts, I don't know. They're going to be pissed about Coleon doing this thing. But anyway, we're also going to be looking at his editing things here in a bit. So keep in mind how he edits and the way he's used integrating vertical, integrating horizontal news clips, his own part, and then the way that he edits all it together and whatnot. So keep that in mind. Not everyone is doing that themselves. Is that the way to say it? And not everyone is putting that much effort into it. Speaking of putting effort into it, here's an alert that went out to all cat owners, I believe, or maybe it went out to all cats. I wasn't sure. We don't have cats here, so we didn't get the alert. Chris is out there. Good afternoon. And Artak said, hey. Moo is out there listening from the field. And I don't think I missed anybody out there for saying hey. And Krabby, Kingpin. I think those people were here yesterday, but they may also be here today. Hey, look, I can make the puppy sleep on top of Kingpin. And then you can jump over on top of She Fires. Jump on top of Gizzard. And then he'll jump back down. All right, so Rocky Mountain gun owners, talk about being back and forth on the place. It's hard to, you only got so many options. So you got to like what you got. Options to like is one of the things that we got going for us here. So some places we have too many options, and there are too many. So too many options is often not all black and white. They're not all one or the other. There are a lot of weird in-betweens, and that's what we've got in Colorado. So Rocky Mountain gun owners says breaking the court just denied their motion for temporary restraining order against the 3-day waiting period and ordered a hearing for their motion for a preliminary injunction. That hearing happened before the end of the month. So I don't know what all that's. So there's a motion for temporary restraining order against the 3-day period. So the 3-day waiting period is about to happen or is happening, sure. And then they filed a motion to have a temporary restraining order, but denied that motion. And then they also have a motion for a preliminary injunction, I guess. So there you go. Bunch of stuff happening in Colorado with 3-day waiting periods. Uh-oh. Let's see what's happening over here. Was it me? Was my lung being weird? All right, well, so got outbid on something. I'm bidding on a bunch of things right now. This was from Meet the Pressers. I was just listening to Meet the Pressers earlier, actually right before we started this show. I was listening to the Meet the Pressers Season 5, Episode 14, talking to Rob Chadwick, the new director of the USCCA's Training and Education Department. Interesting. So we don't know how much USCCA makes because they're not a nonprofit. I don't think they have to put their tax information out there, so I don't think it's out there. But they're attempting, it seems, to do things with their training curriculum. So you can listen to that conversation. It's about 50 minutes. Pretty interesting. So this is also from Meet the Pressers, but over here on the Instagrams. And it's Matt had posted a few videos about this as well, but I guess Universal Training Munitions, or I guess it's Ultimate Training Munitions, UTM, is a type of simunition, except simunition is like saying Kleenex. So a lot of people say, hey, pass me a Kleenex, but you don't really care what brand it is. Kleenex is actually a brand of tissue. So we should be saying tissue all the time. So we should be saying like training ammunition or simulated ammunition or something. But simunition is like saying Kleenex. So simunition technically is one company, but UTM is another company. So it's like the competitor to Kleenex, whatever that is, but it's also a tissue. Anyway, they must be made somewhere else because it says this is some kind of import thing. UTM has been a leading provider of blah, 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 several supported private security, personal training, and shooting enthusiasts. Blah, blah, blah. Many of our products, including ammunition conversions, are made state-of-the-art manufacturing in the United Kingdom and imported to the U.S. for delivery in our broad customer base. Okay, so one of the reasons UTM, the company that is like Simunitions but ain't Simulations, one of the reasons they became popular is for this reason, because they offered their product to people who weren't law enforcement. Simunition was kind of a dick and only offered product to enforcement, federal, and state or whatever. So anybody else could go eat a brick or take a law class because you get simunition really in any quantity. And occasionally they're able to, but usually if they also do something like really train a lot of enforcement or something. So it's possible to have taken munition stuff, but UTM along and was not a dick about it and allowed people to just buy it. So a lot of training instructors and stuff started to buy it and use it. So a lot more people got familiar with it. Most of the time when you see it, you'll be looking at either UTM or simunition. So this is saying that UTM, since it's made in Europe, they're getting blocked. So U.S. is, or the ATF is blocking the importation to the U.S., or at least the selling to, they're only able to import their training products for the law enforcement customers and not any other customers or markets. So essentially, without their own reason or without their own interest, the ATF or UTM is complying with ATF, who's being the jerk now. What do you know? It is me. See that? Anyway, so I don't know what we're supposed to do about it. Do something about it. I imagine we'll get outraged. We'll see up somebody's nose over on firearms policy in a couple of days, and maybe there'll be some upset or some outrage about it. But in the long run, training people never come to the aid of hunters. Training people never come to the aid of competitive shooters. Maybe they do sometimes. Training people never come to the aid of the standard, be a normal person. Training people never come to the aid of the weird people. Training people never come to the aid of the lazy people. In fact, I was just listening to a conversation earlier today about a bunch of training people bitching about how lazy people are lazy. And you know what? In the United States, you're allowed to be lazy. You can be a fat, lard-ass, lazy, whatever, and still own a gun. Guess what? That doesn't hurt nobody. You know what? It's just their business. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? But some people just like to say that everybody should have to be constantly worried about fear and constantly just training for it or whatever. I mean, I got no problem with it, but, we're allowed to do whatever we want here. In this case, the people that want to use the coolest of training, which is force on force, which is some of the most useful. Everyone should do force on force at least once. I'll throw that out there. I'm not against training by any means. I really enjoy training personally, but I'm never going to force it on anybody. And I don't hate training. I really don't like people that hate training. That's such a dumbass way to be. But force on force is something I'd put out there. You can't even watch it. If you watch it, it's like watching sports. Oh, I've watched football. I know all about it. No, you got to get your head hit. You got to get tackled. You got to go try to throw something right after you got tackled. I don't know, all the different elements of it. Golf. Oh, I can watch golf. I must be good at it. No, you're not. You have to go out there and do that for a while and then keep doing it. You have to do it for 18 holes, and all those scores matter. So you either get better as you go, or you fatigue and you get really bad at the end. So anybody can get good at golf for a minute, but do it for 18 holes, right? Like, I don't know a lot about it, but I'm assuming that's part of the game. So anybody that thinks that, oh, training, like, whatever, you just got to go do it. And force on force is like the fastest way to just figure it out. Because what it'll do is it's a slap in the face. You're going to figure out that, oh, I suck really bad. It's not that hard to kill me or you get killed. Like, you don't have to live in fear like the media would like to have you believe, that a tiny little bullet coming out of a gun is an explosion when it needs to be, and it's a miss when it needs to be, and it's killed the orphan baby nun puppy across the street. The puppy that was an orphan that was also a nun. That's the victim. That's narrative. That's trying to manipulate people with the lightning strikes and everything. So in reality, you have to train to be good at stuff. You definitely have to have experienced something. Again, earlier today, I listened to some training and they said something to the effect of, you can't do what you haven't ever experienced, what you've never thought of. That's why the flight or fight thing, that's why people freeze, because they don't know what the hell to do. If you've never been punched and somebody punches you for the first time, you go, I got punched. If you've been punched before, then you go, oh, I got punched. Now what am I going to do? Was that an accident, or should I be punching right back? So, to that extent, they're removing UTM. A bunch of people are not going to give a shit because training people never supported them, and it's sad. And training people they're never going to go, oh, please help us. They're just going to sit there and mope and hate more, get all mopey about it. Well, in my experience, we'll see what happens. Maybe training people are different now. But anyway, so it's a facet. I think Biden is winning on this one. Nobody will support UTM. Nobody will support instructors, and nobody will support the fact that it's just like one of the ammo ban, any of the other ammo bans. We get fractioned and we just don't care. Well, they didn't hurt my 9mm. They didn't hurt my training. They didn't hurt people I care about. And the people that got hurt aren't used to sharing that. They're not used to saying, hey, look what happened to us. So I don't think we'll even see too much about this one. Speaking of little tiny dogs, does anyone else have a dog who thinks like this? And yes, let's say if I could get you know what? I'm doing it again. I'm trying to look at my mouse on the wrong screen. So this little dog thinks he's a big dog. And you can tell because if I bring this over, he's going to want to eat this biscuit. Only the big dog would eat 2 biscuits in one show. Yep, he ate it. Let's take a minute to remember that you shouldn't have dogs on Second Amendment shows. They shouldn't even be in the same topic, because dogs and Second Amendment just don't mix. So it's Pets for Vets, people that place animals with veterans. Not veterinarians, but veterans. And again, I'm using the wrong mouse on the wrong screen. So let's click on this one. Another one from Coleon. This one says Judge blocks Maryland's new gun control law.
A part of Maryland's new gun law, which takes effect tomorrow, was struck down by a federal judge. The judge issued a preliminary injunction that will allow guns in some places, including private buildings, some businesses that sell alcohol, and near public demonstrations. The new law, though, will still largely take effect tomorrow, restricting the ability to carry guns at other public places like healthcare facilities, school grounds, and museums.
When the Supreme Court struck down New York's concealed carry law, all the other anti-Second Amendment states with this same law freaked out and then started scrambling, trying to find ways to change the language of their existing laws to make them sound constitutional on paper, but in practice, the result is the same. So essentially what they would do is give people carry permits, but then call every place that people have to go to in their daily lives sensitive places. So for those of you asking where to get the 2A gang shirt, right now, this new collection is available at shop.mrcoleon.noir.
So I think that's one of the best summaries of the situation right now. That New York's used to be Rifle Police Association versus the loser Bruin happened last year, and now these states that understand their unconstitutional interpretations of law that create, the bad state laws that they've got, are doubling down by, just like he said, coming up with new words, new interpretations. And I think he summarized it better than almost anybody. And then he kind of stuck it between the news hype or whatever, the news announcement. That was funny. I had to cough, so I inhaled, and it made a weird whistle noise, so it sounded like an alarm going off. Anyhow, my lungs are filling up with cloggedness. I don't know, I'm clogged with probably pollution. I probably got a box of something from like New York or LA, and then the box was packaged in an amount of pollution that I'm not used to. So when I opened the box, I breathed in all that pollution. Let's see. So it says, so making guns illegal will get them off the streets. Then we should make meth and heroin illegal. That's a good one. Oh, I guess I have the puppy in the way of seeing this one. Sorry about that. I've been told you're not supposed to have dogs on there. That's probably why. But that's an old one. If guns are so bad you're going to make them illegal, then why don't we make all the other bad things illegal? Oh, wait. Everything bad is already illegal. This is therefore your logic doesn't, it's circular. You're not really thinking about this. You're just doing something to do something. And they don't like to hear that when that's all they're doing. But that's how, one of the ways I think we break the cycle is by trying to illustrate that. In this case, though, meth and heroin, really? So how about fentanyl? You ever heard of fentanyl? 107,000 deaths last year. Completely ignored because of the 36,000 suicides with a gun. And then the, whatever it is, 11 to 8,000, 8,000 to 11,000 crimes that happen with a gun. And that's not even true, because about a good 3,000 of those are justified lethal encounters where somebody defended themselves lethally. So people are going to hold that against us, or hold that against the society. Well, then that's, anyway, 107,000 fentanyls compared to that. This is obvious manipulation here, and we're playing into it when we just respond to them instead of responding to the people who they're actually talking to. Because they're not, the antis aren't talking to us. The antis are talking to the people in the middle, and they're repeating a narrative over and over so that the people in the middle who don't care interpret the situation as they hear it over and over and over. And all we do is bounce the ball back and say, no, we aren't. But what about my rights? Leave us alone. And they bounce the ball right back. You don't care. Leave us alone. You know what I mean? What's the, you don't care. No, how come you don't care? Why are you disregarding suicides? Why are you standing on the deaths of suicides? Why are you disregarding fentanyl, right? Like, let's start bouncing the ball back with a question instead of a, no, I don't. Anyway, people don't hurt people. Don't take their stuff. And this is another voluntary website, voluntarism, chat thing, whatever you want to call these channels that I follow. So here's Professor Yamane talking to Mike Pinot, another Delta guy. So you can tell he's talking to people who are very pragmatic, people that are very aware of the techniques and tactics that are very, more than, they have more than enough time on the clock. I don't know the right word. They have time on the clock in real world situations, so you can't dispute the effectiveness of their training. But the difference is they've been at full volume for a while, and they're teaching for the situations at full volume, which is valid. But if Professor Yamane is only talking to these folks, these are the pinnacles, is that truly taken into consideration the other side, which is essentially lack of any of that stuff, which is still, guess what? It's still legal. Guess what? It's still their right. And that really, it's all those things in between. So if you're going to take a binary pinnacle and then a binary median and say we've gone from median to the pinnacle, I don't know if I'm explaining that right. You can't say there's two pieces. because I'm going to say there's an infinite amount, and it goes from way below to the middle to all the way to the top. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but it's interesting that he's hanging out with so many deltas. Let's see. So I don't know if Unapologetically Armed is out here today, but she's often in the chats if she's not attending a Missouri legislature testimonial opportunity or a way to offer feedback to the representatives in Missouri. It says her post says, my carry lifestyle isn't about being scared. It's about being prepared. Remove gun-free zones so I'm able to protect myself. I think that's great to the point, right? Like it's not, wonder who this could be. I'd really be interested in taking that call because I can't imagine who it could be. I mean, I can, and it'd be cool if it was somebody who I know down there. But I'm wondering why I'm getting that call. It could be spam. I guess it's possible to be spam from down there. But anyway, just got an interesting caller ID. Not caller ID, but town ID, I guess. The town that one just came from is an interesting little town in Arizona. So anyhow, this says in the site here, I choose to keep on my person life-protecting options that I train with regularly. Deciding whether to avail myself of these options or not should be no one's decision but mine. Declaring locations gun-free zone in the name of so-called safety is ludicrous and dangerous, given that these are exactly the sort of target locations that evildoers select to commit high death count slaughters. Why? Because they're evil, not stupid. They don't want anyone shooting back at them. 94% of active murder incidents occur in gun-free zones. Stop disarming us. The results are obvious at this point, which makes you complicit, I think, in the horrific violence that occurs as a result of your bad policies. It's not me. What's going on here? What did Gizzard do this time? Welcome, and welcome to Gunswater. I keep thinking the dog is making that noise, but it's my own lungs. It's like there's a weird... Oh, no, he is making a noise now. Why are you messing with me, dog? Anyway, I'm not looking at the dog. Right down. There we go. So, no, I'm not focusing on a little burrito here full of mushrooms, with a little mushroom squirting out. This is his ear, and this is a big fat animal. He's just as fat as a mushroom burrito would be. Like if you were going to eat the world's fattest mushroom burrito, that's what he's going to be for Halloween, and he's doing it right now. All right, so this is from Stephen Holbrook. I gave C. Brown Holbrook some shit today, so we'll see what he says about it. An Englishman could lawfully carry a firearm without any license permit until 1870. Handguns or revolvers were invented in 1850, remember. At least the bored through cylinder revolvers that we know them of today where you can put bullets in them, that was 1850. So in 1870, Parliament enacted a new law requiring a license to carry a firearm. Anyone could obtain a license by paying a small fee at a post office and could then carry a firearm in the streets of London or just about anywhere else. Carrying a firearm without a license was a fine but no jail time. And then also to put it in perspective, think of like the 1911, right? It was another 40 years after this. So, at this point, people are walking around with revolvers that have bullets in them. No longer are they flintlocks where you have to be some kind of, very interested person to carry around a flintlock, right? And all the crap that you have to do to carry around a flintlock. Like, think about carrying around a flintlock, how useless it would be. It'd take you like 15 minutes to get that thing ready to shoot. But back in the day, people kept them things ready to shoot, I think. So I don't know how they lived their lives. But by 1870, it was like night and day. It was, instead of having to carry around a stupid-ass flintlock and have to worry about all that, you could just put a bullet in a gun. Come on. I guess there was cap and ball. I'm sorry. There was cap and ball for a while. And that was a lot easier to deal with. But that was only for, Civil War to 1870 or something. So, guns were rapidly evolving. And as soon as you could put bullets in there, that's essentially the assault rifle cries of today. Oh my goodness, now everybody can just put bullets in their gun. It's so much easier to use a gun. It's going to be chaos. So people that are scared are going to be scared until they become accustomed, and then they're going to be scared of the next thing that scares them. So, we're sitting here being stifled, I guess is a good word, by a bunch of people who are scared of something that if we would just enlighten them, we could move on with everything. Anyway, Stephen goes on and on about how in Europe, a bunch of laws or something. So here's a picture of it. I'm not going to bore everybody with a bunch of English laws. We don't care. So here's Guns America. Gun Owners Foundation have filed briefs with the United States Supreme Court in the Rahimi burrito case, I guess, because there's a taco next to it. The government focuses on the alleged criminal activities of Rahimi, which is a fucking criminal. He's like a horrible person, right? With 5 pages of detailed facts of how much of a dick he is, conflating his his felonies with his entirely unrelated disarmament based on civil order, of course. So, welcome to the challenge. They picked somebody who they think is a good example of an a-hole who shouldn't have any rights, and we have to now say his actions are separate than his rights. And you can bring up a horrible, horrible person and they can still have rights, you horrible, horrible people, because, you're picking up a very bad example of someone who still has fucking rights. So they want tyranny, and they're trying to say, yeah, look, we picked somebody horrible, therefore give up your rights. Well, F you, you're tyrannists, and bring that up. But anyway, so this is them, Gun Owners America, bringing it up. Nobody else is doing it, so right on, spend some of that money and use those resources, give us better updates, and carry on. Back to Rocky Mountain Gun Owners. They got some kind of a hearing for October 26th based on that post from a minute ago. It has to do with the 3-day waiting period. And October 26th is still a while away. So if you're interested in being aware of that or going to it or something, if you're a Coloradan, they're called the Rocky Mountain Gun Owners, but it's a Colorado organization. All right. Man, I shouldn't have picked coffee to drink. It's not quenching my thirst. It's just giving me, oh, I see. Wasn't you calling me. I got you. This coffee's just drying out my mouth, though. It's not. I should have picked some kind of a juice, a refreshing citrus juice or something for the show, especially with my congestion. Anyway, so the next one is from Gun Owners America. Bold of the ATF to want to advance access and equity when they single-handedly make it a felony to use one of the most popular firearms accessories for those with disabilities. Got it. Equal opportunity only counts if you don't need a pistol brace to defend yourself. Sorry, I had a coughing fit. And then ATF is going, October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. ATF recognizes the importance of ensuring everyone has an equal opportunity to contribute their skills and talents. This year's, whatever that hashtag is, theme is advancing access and equity. More at blah, blah, blah. So guess what? Government agencies are obligated to do dumbass crap that the government tells them to do, and they're fulfilling their role. I don't think they decided, oh, you know what? We need to worry about everything every time it comes up. They're literally required to do all this. So it's a little boring watching people get mad at the boilerplate. Like, all right, bureaucracy, yeah, all right, it's annoying, yeah, all right, well, you all live with it, we know it. Our job is worrying about the rights and getting people focused and not worn out. But this, who cares? Yeah, ATF does things. I'll bet you Transportation Department posted this too. I bet you the Corn Department or whatever, the Treasury posted this. Like every fucking department posted that day. They were told to. They do what they're told. It's their job. It's like that's why they have an executive branch. They tell them to do stuff. So if we don't like the person in power telling them what to do shit, let's not bitch about the shit. Let's just get somebody else in there. How cool is it looking at pictures of old Gabby? Throwback Thursday to my days in Olympic shooting when the mainstream media was reasonable and used logic in their reporting. They understood firearms were the tools I used to excel in my sport. They celebrated it and encouraged it. I shared my thoughts on this topic on my website, link in her bio. So, one, it's cool to see Gabby, who's an Olympic level shooter from Venezuela, showing what it was like to be an Olympic shooter in Venezuela in the 90s, I'm guessing, 2000s, I don't know. And then it's also her doing it on her website and using social to bring people to her website. I don't know. It's going to be debatable whether the hashtags are still a thing. I'm down with it. There's people that get a real fit. You have a real fit if you include hashtags anymore. But then linking and tagging, I guess, and then actually having it on the website, and then again blogging on the website and using this to supplement. That's epic. That's top level.
Briefing rounds are done.
Instead of posting, my reach isn't good enough on the platform. If I sit here, the river that goes past me doesn't flow fast enough. Like, go find a better thing to do then. She's out there doing other things, not having to complain about the one river. And next we get Jim, who is board member of San Gun Owners, and is giving updates on this. I don't know. This was worth listening to, the whole thing. I don't know what this chunk is, but here it is. I'm going to blow my nose and stuff. What happened? Here we go.
Expect a decision on the most recent concept here. Anytime. It could be this week. It could be within 30 days. And I think it's fair to say that a 30 to 60 day window is not unreasonable. I think it come down. And once that happens, all right, I fairly believe that given the comments from the bench, we're going to win again. We should win again. There's no reason why we shouldn't. The law got better for us, and we have already won on the old law, on the old establishment. So then we go up to the Ninth Circuit. Briefing rounds are done. We expect a decision on the most recent concept here. Anytime. It could be this week. It could be within 30 days. And I think it's fair to say that a 30 to 60 day window is not unreasonable. I think it'd come down. And once that happens, all right, I fairly believe that.
I kind of feel like that was one of the most boring parts of that interview. So it's worth listening to that one. It talks about the situation in California. And I like their creative approaches to what's happening in California and how to, I guess, react and prepare. I'm going to put this on while I jump over to the kitchen and I'm going to go flip over my hot slaw jars. I just thought that I just seen this video and thought to myself, I need to flip these jars over. Let me give you a recipe right here. Hope he doesn't like it, but you might. Be able to add more if you want. But you get the idea. I'm replacing the jalapenos with cabbage. And what this ends up with is a kabuchi kind of thing, where the cabbage gets very soft in the spicy pickling juice, and super spicy from the jalapenos, and pretty good. So try it out. It's great on sandwiches, and it's pretty epic if you put it into salads. It's crunchy. Well, I guess it depends on how. So you take a jar of jalapenos and you eat them, and then when you got that jar of juice left over, that spicy pickle juice, cram it full of coleslaw mix-ins, and then let that sit for however long you want, and it'll get less and less crunchy, and it's super spicy. And like I say, it's really good on a sandwich or mix it in with a salad. You're welcome. So another one with gun culture, Professor Imane, and he's saying, what is ECQC? Extreme Close Quarters Combat, I'm assuming. People don't think it be like it is, but it do. And, essentially, if you're actually doing a combatives class where you're actually doing combatives, what's going to happen is you're going to fight with somebody, and you're going to see what it's like if you've never done that before, or if it's maybe been a while, or if you've only ever been in real fights and you've never practiced before, then, going into a course can be pretty eye-opening, pretty useful. pretty humbling, I guess that's another word. And like this, I think this is a good example. You're going to be both the exhibit and both the student and the example, or is that the way I say it? Like, because you're going to be, I mean, depending on the class or the course or whatever, you're going to be learning as much from your other students as you do from the curriculum or the instructor themselves. So anyway, this is South Narc. This is ShivWorks. It's a hand-to-hand combative that most people respect as being one of the better ones out there. And this is Professor Yamane saying, today's training chapter, Memory Lane, takes me to a dark place in the woods of North Carolina. ECQC. I guess this is where they did all this. If they're doing it on gravel, that's even kind of hardcore.
All right, this week on Tactical Rifleman, we're going to talk about how to survive basic training. So for all you gristle-laden guys out there in high school scared to go in the military, I'm telling you, you want free college? You get free college. 4 years free college. You just owe Uncle Sam 2 years in the military. And honest, most of y'all need to go in the military for a couple of years. You need a good father figure in your life. Get out there, watch the video, our YouTube channel, Tactical Rifleman.
Kind of an interesting video. So, and the comments are interesting too. So while I understand the sentiment, or I understand the concept, I know when I was in, the people that were there for college were a different type of people. And from the comments on this recent video, it sounds like that dynamic still exists, or at least there's that element still as a dynamic out there. Anyway, that's interesting. I don't know what y'all's thought is on that, but Tactical Rifleman's a cool channel. I think I talked about this on the pretty sure we talked about this on the weekly wrap-up also. You might have heard of the Mouse Party, or maybe the overnight show that happens each weekend. Well, another thing is these patches or stickers that come out. I don't know what it is. Something's going on with my lung. So it says AR-15s are A-OK. So it's Voss's sticker. I don't know how you can get one. Probably have to do something, be part of something, get involved. Here we go. What's his face? And it says Biden Soros-funded district attorneys and gun ban politicians have put policies in place specifically designed to keep violent criminals out of jail and on the streets. And when those repeat offenders misuse firearms to commit crime, that's when Biden and his ilk vow to get tough on NRA members. So if they wouldn't have what's-his-face in here and they just had the text, people would probably be like, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a good example. That's a good representation of the way we think it is. Unfortunately, with what's-his-face in here, it puts like a connotation of bullshit on it, and a lot of people wouldn't even regard this anymore. And I have to say some people, because a lot of people don't give a shit and are still members of the NRA and are down. So it says now more than ever, America needs a strong NRA. As a member, you're a critical component of our collective strength. Fighting together, we will restore sanity to our nation's criminal justice system and keep politicians' hands off our freedom. Visit link in the bio to read Wayne's column. His colon? No, his column. So, yeah, whatever. Look at some of these comments. Exactly. Right on. Proud NRA member. One and only goal. Their one and only goal is to create chaos. Completely agree. Are these manicured? That's a lot of positive shit right there. Life member. Bunch of tacos. Like, that's messed up. That's not one negative comment. Is that realistic? Cheryl Todd is posting this for an October 27th. Oh, wait a minute. Man. Oh, no, nowhere near. All right, so October 27th. Cheryl is the Arizona Director for Women for Gun Rights. Did you know the DC Project is now the Women for Gun Rights? Yep, that happened. So it says 2 Amendment Forum. Preserving our right to bear arms is imperative for all who value freedom, whether you own a gun or not. And then it has Cheryl Todd, it has Michael Gibbs, it has Michael Infanzon, and Representative Quang. And I guess they're doing something on Friday, October 27th. Doesn't say where. Over here it says at the Reformed Living Bible Church on Thunderbird Road in Scottsdale. So in Scottsdale, Arizona, that's the fancy suburb of Phoenix. Friday, October 27th, and 6 p.m. would be the time. And looks like that's happening. AmericaPac.org event, so they've got it on the calendar over here. And it says, join me in a great panel of pro-Second Amendment advocates discussing the cultural and legislative issues surrounding our right to keep and bear arms and what you, yes you, can and should be doing to protect and preserve our precious and unique American inheritance of freedom. All right, so that's happening if you're in Arizona. Speaking of being in Arizona, you ever heard of Allen Anchor? They are a patch company that moved to Arizona, and this is one of their cooler ones, I think. The Blues Brothers poster. Look at this. Goal, Massachusetts Gun Owners Action League had posted these signs that said Stop Bill 4420. It says Protect the Second Amendment, Stop Bill 4420. Contact your state rep. Well, they offered this option to change it to 4607 because the new House Dill, or whatever that means, is 4607. So they're suggesting update in the signs. And, I don't know. I don't know if they're really suggesting it as much as they just show a picture of it. But that's a heck of a lot of signs to have to redo. So let's stop the waste and figure out something better than putting up signs all the time. I mean, signs are probably effective for some things, but can we do them in a different way than plastic signs? Or can we keep them and make them over and over again every time so that people know what's up? We get used to seeing them maybe, and they become a thing and we're not disposable. Oh, snap. Is 2A disposable? Don't try to calm the storm. Calm yourself, and the storm will pass. I like a girl in a gun. They often post things like this. This one is called Sunday Vibes. So good to keep perspective when you're combing through the internets. If your internet stress you out, consider checking out different internets, because some of the internets will make you giggle all the time. That's probably not good either. But you shouldn't have to be stressed out all the time. Let's see. The next one is from SHOT Show from the NSSF. And it says, SHOT Show attendee and buyer registration is officially open. Oh, you know what I could be doing this whole time? Come on, man. Let me try that again. SHOT Show attendee and buyer registration is officially open. Pretty good, huh? It's like a fancy podcast you listen to on the radio. Let's see. Never attended SHOT Show before, but want to? ? See if you qualify. If you are a member of the NSSF, you can save money on your registration and take advantage of all the member benefits the show has to offer. I wish you could turn it off. Does that sound right, or does it sound bad? Paid 96 cents for this.
Yeah, my name is Rob Wilcox, and I'm the Deputy Director of the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. The White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention is a nerve center. It's the way for us to make sure that we come to work every single day as an administration thinking about saving lives, thinking about investing in communities, thinking about making sure that people in crisis who are a risk to themselves or others don't have access to firearms. And our charge is simple. We're here to implement the historic executive actions that have come to date and the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. Our second mission is to look for new executive actions that will be within the law and life-saving. action is to work with our partners at the state and local level within the community to keep taking life-saving action in every corner of this country.
So it's Rebecca says, one, it's a great way to promote anti-rights propaganda on the taxpayer's dime, money laundering to the anti-liberty organizations right out in the open, not to mention the fact that installing an office to curtail rights enumerated within the U.S. Constitution is outright treasonous. Then it says, number two, go read the comments on White House original post. Oh, let's do that. Are we allowed to do that? Is that legal? How long ago was it? Oh, it's right here.
My cousin was shot and killed by someone who never should have had a gun.
Oh my. So get rid of inner city Democrats and eliminate 90% of gun crimes. Beta Pinhead, who's protected by men with guns, has never picked up a gun and gone downrange himself. So in turn, you want to make people defenseless. Liberalism really is a disorder. Is that still a thing? People say that? Most useless bureaucrats with zero knowledge on the subject are more useless bureaucrats with no knowledge on the subject trying to infringe on our constitutional rights. Focus on the thing that killed your cousin and not the law-abiding citizens. Or focused on the one that killed your brother, not the law-abiding citizens. Sorry for your loss, truly, but your cousin was stabbed to death. Would you be heading to the White House for Office of Knife Violence Prevention? Oh. This department is a waste of taxpayer money and time. It's a complete joke, especially coming from an administration that cuts criminals sweetheart deals, like Hunter, who lied on 4473, which is a federal crime. Seed oils in human form. Hey, extremist Dems, disarm yourself first. All right. Now more than ever, Americans, keep your guns and have them ready. Blah, blah, blah. How many terrorists are here in the States because of your border? Ouch. Wow, congrats on your all right. More bureaucracy to grind down tax dollars and let people who shouldn't have guns get them. What just happened in Israel proved how important it is to be armed. That one is from 3 days ago already. Your experience has nothing to do with my life. Snap. Pretty decent comments, though, I'd say, overall. There's a comment in there, get these weak people out of office, and that's, you ever heard of that? I got the fucking White House up here. Let's get rid of that. You ever heard of that thing where weak people, bad times, hard people, good times, blah, blah, blah. Get hard or shut the fuck up. That's what I'm saying. Like bitching about soft people is soft. Guess what? It's soft. Hard people, it's time to get hard. You know what I'm saying? Go do your thing. So this is worth listening to. Since I got all the time in the world, maybe I should start doing this on Thursdays and do a short or something on before the show on Wednesday. But I don't have all the time in the world every week. But anyway, this is worth listening to for something legit, because everything else is a fucking distraction. Not everything, but the other things are distractions from things like this.
The Attorney General, Merrick Garland, has admitted to...
I'm going to go ahead and go backwards to it so that we hear the whole thing.
Yeah, my name is... The Attorney General, Merrick Garland, has admitted to the Senate that the cartel strategy was to flood the Border Patrol, and by tying up Border Patrol, because Border Patrol now is doing basically a catch and release system, then the drug cartels will slip people around the other side. Can you tell us how this policy of the open border and this strategy of the cartels have combined to allow them to basically take over crime in the cities?
Chairman, the way it works on your southwest border, you hear the term all the time, operational control. The problem is no one ever tells you what that means and how the cartels have it. And that's what I'm going to share with you here today. And then to answer your question, and that is that they utilize a network known as the Halcon network. Halcons are scouts, they're lookouts. They check on and off, just like law enforcement, anywhere from 8-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts. I've seen them in South Texas as far as 30 miles into the United States.
and they got them on meth. So they're just up there for 24 hours at a time because they don't care. They're on free meth, and all they got to do is watch for cops.
I have seen them in Arizona as far as 70 miles. They leverage two-way handheld encrypted radios, sometimes encrypted apps, and they communicate back to what is known as Central. So what happens is you have these lookouts everywhere. And when what they call the gate is open, the gate meaning a bend in the river or a bend at your border, when there is no law enforcement, they surge with whatever commodity it is that they want to push. So when you're talking about based on the policies of all of these migrants that have come from all over the world, what is happening is the cartel by design will push hundreds of people, as you have seen on every news station over the last few years, and then media focuses on that. That causes the surge of local, state, and federal law enforcement to that location. And they do that by design because it opens up the other gates. Now, if they're going to move a commodity directly linked to a cartel boss, they'll shut down more gates to ensure that commodity makes it in. And what they do, Chairman, is they contract directly with U.S.-based street gangs and what we call Tier 1 gangs. Those are gangs which impact multiple regions in our country. They work directly with the cartels. And today, it is very important to understand your U.S.-based street gangs are working side by side, contracting with the cartels. And I could go on here, but in 2009, Mexican Mafia, I was a lieutenant in Laredo, Texas, over 2 major drug squads as the war broke out between CDG and the Zetas. And we were stunned at what we found. We had Mexican Mafia working in Mexico, working operations, going through basic, intermediate, and advanced training from former special forces and law enforcement, conducting hits in the United States and getting reduced costs of cocaine for that. That is the way it really works. So when you wonder today why you are being overrun with drugs, it is because the Tier 1 gangs and U.S.-based street gangs are contracting and working directly with these cartels. And I will go back to this, and that is that they will not stop. They can't. They're going to have to be stopped, and we're going to have to really take extreme aggressive action to fix this.
That last part is kind of key. So you can believe them or not, but I mean, who believes that the cartels are going to go, we're done. Let's do something else, maybe fried chicken chain restaurants or whatever it was. Let's do that. So come on, man. So anyway, I like listening to Jason Jones. You can follow him. He's the guy that ran the Texas Rangers and was in charge of the international crime for the state of Texas for a long time. So quite a bit of the international border with Mexico. And like he says, he was around when the cartels started to divide or turn or claim territory or expand, or however you want to call that metamorphosis that happened a number of years ago. This is Gun Policy or Firearms Policy Coalition. So it says, Chicago gangs used fraudulent COVID relief money to buy guns and solicit murder. Crooks committed extensive COVID funding fraud to bilk the public treasury, which was illegal. They used that money to buy guns, which was illegal. Withdraw purchasers, which was illegal. They bought magazines larger than they're allowed to have, which was illegal. Converted their Glocks to machine guns, machine pistols, which was illegal. They were used in murders, which is illegal. And the money was then, some of the money was used to contract murders also, which was also illegal. So, interesting thing that's happening, I guess. I didn't know about this, so it's a Firearms Policy telling us about it. Sorry, I got a real text. All right, so yeah, I didn't know about this, so there's a little bit of news, I guess. Gun Owners Action League. Chairman Day doubles down on attacking junior shooters. The new House bill bans anyone under 21 from purchasing or possessing any semi-automatic firearm. What is HD anyway? I should probably go figure out what HD is. I watched that thing for 10 hours or whatever it was, 7 hours, 5 hours, whatever it was the other day. I don't know why they call it HD. That's just weird. HD 4607. So, Tree of Liberty needs attention. That's a good comment. Oh, we're close to the end here. So this is from 3 hours ago. Today is the day back in 1961 that Kennedy hung out with Yarborough, who was one of the guys from the OSS, if I remember right, and decided, you know what, we need some sort of counterinsurgency force. So something essentially that had 1 foot in the uniformed military and 1 foot in the CIA. Somebody that could do things that other places couldn't do, but could do things, but could work with all these agencies. Somebody could wear a uniform, but could also do things without a uniform. So that's when they invented the green brace, 1961. Another one for Moon Food, who's, again, he's not trying to sell you these things. There's no coupon codes. He's not getting nothing for nothing. He's just a fan of his guns. He likes taking pictures, and Instagram gives him a place to do that. When Instagram got big, like when we all grew on Instagram, I'm one of the people that grew on Instagram back in the day. I don't remember what we're at, like 50-something thousand. I think it was at 74,000 on Instagram at one point when we were all, doing Instagram. Everybody was down with Instagram. It slowly dwindles, and now it's down to like 50,000. Those are probably just people that left the platform or, jumped off when different alternatives came around, or when we've been attacked and they leave instead of staying around or fighting it or anything. But Moon Food's one of those that just enjoys the platform for its ability to share pictures with guns, and he has a style and a his own drive to post them. So I like to tag him every once in a while, catch up and say hey. Dang it, got copyrighted. So this is Kilo Niner, the ones that gave little dude his tactical vest, one of his tactical vests, and some dude walking around in a kilt, I guess. I just got one of them bowls the other day. So I got that bowl sitting right here, except ours is blue, of course, because blue's cooler. But this bowl will allow you to, hold on. Where's my mouse? This bowl right here is kind of handy. I just realized this when I was looking at it on the Amazon. You can make it that big, right? Or you can make it this big, a little bit bigger. Don't look in there. Or, boom, now it's that big. It's even bigger. Okay, now you can look in there. Look in there. Look in there. No, he's offended. Anyway, that's what it's for. You smush it down. You make him carry it around. And then I don't have to carry all this weight now. Like a sucker. He's not interested. The shot collars are going on right after this is over. Right after this. It's probably because I'm feeding him them hemp treats. I'm harshing his mellow over here. So there's a picture of the little dude wearing all his shot collars from earlier today when we were doing some obedience training. So instead of having one, we had 3 different shot collars going on. Made him 3 times as obedient. So Walk Talk America's survey must be over. They said thanks everybody who took their mental health survey. So I don't know if you did or not, but participation in our community with their projects is what gives them the ambition to keep moving, gives them the data set to, mark whatever they were going to do with it. It also, sorry, I'm having a cough. Our level of participation in the various projects that happen is also an indication to the political strategists on the other side who definitely pay attention to this. It's available to be paid attention to, and it's free. So they're definitely paying attention to the things that we do and how successful they are. So when we do things publicly that are successful, it indicates to those political strategists when it's opportune to come at us, when it's politically, not good to come at us, or when it's just time to throw in the bucket because it's a done deal. We tend to think once the laws are on our side, we're done. Like, it's over. It ain't over. They're going to constantly be chipping away. That's what they do. Our goal would be to stop them in their tracks and then talk to our friends and go, man, isn't that annoying how they came after me, suggesting that crime is on my back? That would be like coming after you because you like knives or something, or coming after you because you like vicious animals, or coming after you because you have that drowning factory in your backyard. I mean, your pool in your backyard, or coming after you because you have death stairs, no gravity features or anything. So, you didn't nerf your stairs enough. You didn't have enough hand railings. Like that, somehow it's your fault that other people fall downstairs. So thanks for being on our side. Oh, you weren't on our side? Oh, you didn't even know we had a massive attack? How are these conversations that we ever have? Nah. Are we ever asked to have those conversations? I don't think so. Because we always go, oh, we're done? What grip angle are you using? Like, what's the new platform to put a laser on or a laser on? What kind of lever should I add to my handgun? Anyway, so here's a dude. Where'd he come from? He came from, let's go find out. Because his story is that he came from, wow, see, this is my internet. This is the internet I'm dealing with. I want to take this time to say thanks to our Patreons who make it possible for me to take the time to do projects like this one, to follow Instagram with a purpose instead of just casually. Because each week we take that stuff.
Shortens the time from harvest
Come
to
on,
home,
man.
so you have more time
Come
to
on.
enjoy your fresh produce.
Oh man, I apologize. I should do the whole show over again. Is that disruption? Anyhow, for giving us the time to be able to take the time to do this. May not be critical, but it's another brick in the wall. It's another thing. You wouldn't be surprised how many times I'll do something and somebody goes, "That's a dumbass way to do it. I'm going to do it the right way," and then something else happens. I'm all down for that. If this can be inspiration or motivation for somebody else to do something better or do something adjacent, do it. We need all the help we can get, and not everybody's reaching everybody. Let's see what he says on here.
7 days while we were.
All right, it's not going to play nice with me, so we'll pause it.
Out there running and gunning, there was no downtime. It was just, hey, let's keep getting after it. Because you figure, especially that type of scenario where we know where the enemy is, it was just a free fall, and it was awesome. Like, everybody was trying to get after it.
All right. So it says they have an in-depth story with a 20-year veteran, Green Beret Jay Dolores. He spent his initial portion of his career as a combat engineer, so dealing with blowing stuff up and mostly blowing stuff up, building stuff and blowing stuff up. And, then he talks about being a beret and having, some extraordinary situations. But it says his childhood is anything but ordinary as he moved to the U.S. from Haiti with his family and maintained that New York immigrant mindset to help him succeed in the military. He created his YouTube channel that he's now that he's retired, to teach aspiring operators how to successfully pass selection and learn from his mistakes. So again, people tend to have weird assumptions or perceptions of who succeeds in the military. And this is a great example of somebody who is very typical military. Think of people who go, "Oh, I'm third generation military." Okay, big whoop. I mean, it's nice. It's cool. I understand the tradition. Some of us have done that. But here's the thing. What about that first gen? Who do you think that was? That was somebody who fucking got here, who understands what it is to come to the United States, who wasn't just born here and isn't just following what the tradition is. They started the tradition. They came here. They left whatever it was, came here, or got here somehow. Like, they're here. They started a tradition of being in the military. Maybe they got here by means that you wouldn't want to get here by. Right? They got here and now they're here and they're able and they're contributing back, or they're secure in their spot, or whatever their perspective is on it. They're starting that tradition. And that's almost always somebody who came from somewhere else to get here, or someone that truly appreciates what we've got here. And, you see that every once in a while, first generation, but more often we hear about the third or fourth in that generation at this point, which is fine. Like I say, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way it is when you can't help it when you're born or whatever. But this is a great story, and the guy's got such a cool mindset on it. But most Braves do, can't help that. So anyway, that's on Combat Story. That guy's a Apache helicopter pilot, and then in the CIA, and now he interviews people like this, mostly not in person, mostly just like over Zoom or whatever. But another good one, worth listening to. You may or may not be able to hear that this animal, my co-host, is making a bunch of noises over here. So this is Melissa. I think this is copyrighted. So it's some kind of girl music. But, people downplay the TikTok or the YouTube Shorts or the Facebook, whatever they are, the Instagram Reels. But then other people just master them. So this is Dragon Man's daughter. I don't know what she's trying to do. Probably show off she's showing off a lot of stuff. She's got the holster and Boomstick Babe shirt on, but I think she's also talking about her class. So see how she's like repping a whole bunch of stuff in one post, and it's done in such a way with the fancy editing and the little glitchy effects and whatever, and the quick edits where it's short enough that you're just going to watch it a few times. And guess what? Guess who's winning in Instagram because you're watching this a few times? That's the simple strategy. Make something that's a looping thing that's worth watching, and people will sit on it for a minute and watch it. Now your shit's been watched 3 times. Instagram loves you, and they're going to represent your shit more, or they're going to suggest your shit more. So that's how you win on Instagram. Also, Dragon Man's daughter. Now we have an elephant being a plow. What do we call it? Being a horse in front of a plow. Would you ever try plowing a field with an elephant? Well, I would not, because you would think the elephant would smush the ground too much. These farmers from the 101 Ranch in Oklahoma did, and they thought it was a perfect picture for National Farmers Day. So I didn't know that, but hats off to all the farmers out there. Some of us are the descendants of farmers. Other people are farming right now, and other people are sitting on the head of an elephant. So if you had an elephant, would you be pulling a giant plow with it, or what would you be doing with your elephant? I'm pretty sure I'd be riding my elephant around for sure, but I don't know. Would you build one of those little houses, like a tree fort on the back of the elephant, so you could have a bunch of people up there? I think that would be kind of mean to the elephant. So unless I had a giant elephant, I think I would just ride around like a horse, I guess. I'd leave my tusk on my elephant, though. I don't know why this one's detusked. That's kind of lame. So here's Coleon, and he posted this picture of his situation. So we're going to rag on it essentially here. So first off, I don't like it. Do you like it? It's cool and everything, but I don't like it. This giant weird monitor would freak me out. I mean, I get it, but it would freak me out. I would constantly be seeing stuff out of the corners of my eyes. I can handle my situation with my 3 monitors. I don't know. I could try it, but I don't think I would like it. But also, I don't get it. Like, how do you get this thing in a giant box that looks like a big curve or something? Like, this is a huge thing if it comes in a box. I guess it has to. Anyway, and then the other thing is, who has a picture of themselves on their desktop? I'm not doing that. But otherwise, he's working off of a tablet and a keyboard. I don't get it. Like, is this some kind of Apple thing? Gizzard is out there. Chris is digging this monitor. He likes it. I don't know, man. I mean, I get it, but I don't think I could do it. I like having my stuff on my monitors. Here, let me show you. I do. I mean, I have a lot of monitory stuff going on here. But like this one here. Like I have that screen over there, and I have that screen over there, and then I guess this one's way over here. But this one is over here. So I do have a lot of monitor stuff happening, but I can compartmentalize them or whatever. So to me, it just seems like, what am I doing? it just seems it would be too much like the future. I don't think I could handle it. Plus, I don't know how much it costs. I like not spending that much money and having where if like a piece breaks, I can afford to replace it. I feel like that's a lot of money. But anyway, the other part that bugs me is, I guess I understand a phone sitting here. You know, people do that. If I had a fancy phone that charged like that, I would probably have it sitting there. I get the speakers because I'm doing that now. But I don't like having them here. I'm going to figure out some way to attach my speakers to the back of my monitor so I don't have to look at them. They don't have to be laying on my table. But I don't know what this is. It looks like a fishing reel. So, all right, he's into fishing. That's cool. And then, he's got a microphone over here and then some kind of buttons for a disco. But I'm guessing that's some kind of live stream, $200, $300 live stream buttons that everybody has. I've never got those before. And then he has a wireless keyboard and a freaking tablet. So what's he doing this whole thing from a tablet? How does Colion Noir do his whole thing from a tablet? That makes no sense to me. So that I don't get. And yeah, that's pretty much what I don't get. So unless there's a computer somewhere, right, or like a desktop somewhere that's behind here and I just don't see it, which he could probably do because he's probably a gamer or whatever. So anyway, otherwise it's kind of cool. I like how it's all dark. I don't know if I like the window behind it. I think I'd rather have my monitor over here in the corner where it is dark behind it and then have to turn my head to the light or out the window. But that also might be annoying to have the window to your right. So I have no idea how his situation is there. But, and then he also doesn't have a stand-up desk. How could Colion Noir not have one of them stand-up desks so he could be running on a treadmill or some shit while he's editing his videos or doing some kind of stair climber while he's playing Angry Birds or what? But whatever. Maybe he's not young enough. All right, next, let's talk about who do you think is making this? Shit, I need to do this. There. Who do you think is making this little handy gem of a tracked vehicle that's remotely operated that has a some sort of a belt-fed multi-barrel railgun? Well, not railgun, but chain gun. So with some sort of multiple optical observation or tracking or maybe targeting systems on it. Who do you think is building this thing? Any ideas? Any guesses? Boom. Have you met the R2FU developed by Sig Sawyer? It's a mule robot incorporating the Bulldog remote weapon system and the NG3 Gatling gun in 338 NM. What the hell is 338 NM? We're all looking at Chris right now. From Stone Horse. So, yeah. If you're running around laughing about robots, robots are funny joke. Robots are funny and we never nothing to worry about. What do you think they're going to run down the streets with when Sig Sawyer's building them fucking new robots with Bulldog remote weapon systems featuring NG3 Gatling guns? 338 NM. All right, nobody's going to tell me. I'm going to have to look it up. It's cool times when they're making ammo faster than I can keep up with it. So everybody's like, blah, 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 we're losing. Blah, blah, blah. They're going to win. Bloomberg's going to win. Let's give up faster. Turns out that's 338 Norma Magnum. I don't like it already because that probably means it's from like Sweden. Yeah, it's some kind of Europe round. So they're going to be shooting us with Europe robots. So it's probably fucking built in metric. Anyway, are you learning how to take this thing out? You know, what would the weak points be? What would your ordnance be effective on? What are you thinking would be the most useful way to take this out and still be able to use it? You know, salvage the most out of it. Are you going to disable the most expensive part that you can't replace, or the most easy thing that you can replace with a 3D printer? Or are you not thinking about that and you're just laughing at robots still? Now let's take a look way back to when the art of competitive shooting created the art of shooting schools, I guess, or enhanced the art of shooting schools to a level that we literally still are on with Gunsight. And Lefty Pistolero is this channel I watch that I don't really know who it is. It's either somebody or some fake thing. I'm not sure if it's a person or not. but it's an interesting project on Instagram that focuses on Gunsight, which is the school that Jeff Cooper started and is where most of the shooting instructors who are respected today either got their start or learned originally. So it's this home of modern shooting instruction, and the modern shooting instructors all originate there for the most part, with like 2 exceptions. But because it's got such reverence in the community and it's changed hands and Colonel Cooper has passed, this is what we got left, is the artifacts and the semi-museum version of the way that it was left. So it's an interesting look at how it is today and the artifacts from where we got to and the people that got us to where we're at here. And I guess we'll move on. Then you got Chris Costa, who's pretty cool, and he's a Coast Guard guy. And this is a class that he must have taught recently from 7 hours ago. With often when you take a night class with night vision, somebody will come along and take a cool picture like this with everybody. So yeah, just to show you the size and scale of people that are still going out and taking classes with night vision. So each person in this photograph has $5,000 to $10,000, maybe $20,000 strapped to their head just to be able to see in the dark. So they're effectively playing with, utilizing and training on their own dime. There might be a couple of people here from law enforcement, but most of the time these are doctors and physicians of some sort, people that have invented something or are in the medical field, or maybe they sell something, and then a lot of software technicians, in my experience at least. Those are the people with the amount of income to buy the equipment and have the interest in casually understanding operations under night vision, which is at this point not quite the pinnacle, but it's pretty close to the fucking pinnacle. It's certainly the pinnacle of where we were in the 90s, and it's it's a stage that you can attain and you can get to. And a lot of people blow it off because tactical, we don't care about them, or tactical, or chasing weirdness, or their cosplay, or whatever you want to disregard them as. Who cares? They're also jerks half the time, so nobody wants to hang out with them anyway. But this is the scale of just one dude's class, and he does other things, but this is just one of the low-light classes he's done this year. And there's a lot of people out there that are doing things in different ways and for different reasons than everybody. And guess what? We got things that tie us together that are often neglected, and we don't have national level organizations doing as much as they could to remind us those threads that hold us together. So hopefully this works as a bit of that. Now let's look at Krebs, who's a gun builder from 1911 days and then got into the AK back in the days when contractors and special operators of various units were first experiencing the global war on terror and having to deal with teaching units overseas with weapons platforms that weren't ours, right? Weapons platforms that were either obtained from or gathered from Soviets or other, even earlier World War I caches, World War II caches. And this is an example of who can identify what this is, or what it's called, what its nickname is, but and then who might have shot one of these. But anyway, Krebs is a cool gunsmith, and he, with his skills and his interest and his access, he was able to build guns for operators and contractors that created ergonomic versions of the Kalashnikov platform to fill needs and to create these hybrid guns. And then with that knowledge, he added a lot of value to some of the Kalashnikov collectors groups. I think ours, just ours, but in our KCA group, and a bunch of these builders became the core of the building of AKs throughout the 2000s until now. It's commonplace, and now we have a whole new breed of AK builders. But this was Krebs. Mark Krebs is one of the first of the main AK builders, and he's survived through all of it. Almost none of the other ones are still there. Let's see. Gunswatter says, I have a curve monitor still in the box. Hope it works. Over a year old. Wow. Because you're moving or something, or what? I don't know the circumstances there. But anyway, this is the Polish dentist. So this is a crazy Soviet, maybe it's Polish, I guess. It's a Polish Soviet thing. It's bakelite and metal. It's kind of like a stent if it's trying to hurt you, like if a stent didn't like you. So the bullets come up through that grip. So think about what that bolt must look like and where it must be. So yeah, that bolt is going backwards out of the gun into your jaw when you shoot this thing. And it's like, I think it's 9 or some dumbass 9mm version. So it's fast and it's definitely clunky. So it's throwing a big, massive weight, just like a Sten bolt. It's throwing like a big Polish Sten bolt backwards out of the gun into your face as you're shooting it. And it's got this little tiny rickety folding stock that, anyway, it's known to smash your face up. So they call it the Polish dentist. And pretty interesting little gun. There's not very many of them, so you don't see them very often. Speaking of guns you don't see very often, anybody know what this one is? Anybody know what this one is? What its significance is? Why one of its significances is? So it's got plenty of uniquenesses to this one. So this is a Polish. Wait, hold on. Let me think for a second. I think it's a barrel. I might be screwing up. It's been a long time since I had to think about all this. But essentially, it's the mini barrel. The barrel is a .223 modern Polish AK. And the Polish, just like when the Soviets came along, started pushing all those Soviet bloc countries to use the AK. And some of them were like, yes, sir. And some of them were like, no, I'm not going to do it. Like Czechoslovakia. Like, yeah, F you. I'm not going to do it. And Poland was like, yeah, we'll kind of do it. But, not really. And then as soon as they could, they started doing their own thing with the Tantal. So same thing here. They made this barrel, and they're like, we like certain things of the AK, the parts that work, but we don't like the caliber. For some reason, they made it in 5.56, probably because of NATO. And then they also didn't like the stupid sights on it. So it's a crank, but look at how that rear sight is. And on a real barrel, the originals, they would go back, and that's why I'm wondering if this isn't something newer than a barrel, and I'm just not remembering or not keeping up. But it's just, if it's not a barrel, it's a descendant of the barrel. But it's essentially the post-Soviet Polish 5.56 version of an AK, but they shortened it to be badass and put a real optics platform on it instead of playing around with the bullshit old Soviet iron sights. They just said, goodbye iron sights, let's put a thing on here. And, for putting on a red dot or whatever, they're going to end up with it. Of course, it's SBR, so it just has a stock on it. I don't know if that's the right stock or not. For some reason, it doesn't look right to me, so it might be a brace. I might be wrong, and that might be a brace. But anyway, for a little nod to Mark Krebs, a couple of different things that he builds out there. Then, of course, let's not forget SIG is building the Mule robot with the Bulldog remote weapon systems on it, featuring things like 338 Gatling gun. So there we go. With that, I guess we'll wrap it up. 2 hours for 2A, I guess, because we missed it by a day. It's worth zapping another hour onto it. I won't ask for feedback since everybody's probably pretty bored or trying to do whatever they're doing. I just did this one in the middle of the day, mainly because I had an hour to kill, and now I killed 2 hours. So kind of scrolling through the new stuff here. Wilderness Tactical up in Phoenix area. There's 2 posts in a row from Phoenix area. AK Shooter is somewhere in like Georgia, I think. Cindy Ladd is in Phoenix area, I think also. She says, next week I will be with my Women for Gun Rights as we descend upon Washington, D.C. for our annual fly-in. Oh, I didn't know it was next week already. It makes sense. It's October. In addition to our rally outside the Supreme Court on Monday and a press conference with Congressman somebody or another on Wednesday, we really want to give the gun grabbers in our nation something to talk about. That's why we're renting a mobile billboard to circle the U.S. Capitol and the White House, displaying 5 simple yet incredibly powerful truths. Please help us inform and educate the misguided public. Interesting. So, my body, my choice, and it has okay, I know where I'm drawing a blank though, but it's got a what's your face pointing off screen. It says 94% of mass shootings are in gun-free zones. All right. Then we've got gun control is racist. Lady holding an AR with a backwards ass flag on it. Fuck. Shouldn't I wear teal? Come on, man. Then you got Protect Me Like a Politician. Then we got Moms Demand Protection. Oh, shit. Interesting. Oh, shit. This one is very interesting. I'm going to shut up about this one, and then I'll go to this next one. Oh, that's the last one. Holy crap. All right, so, well, there you've seen it. I don't know if you're watching this or not, but those are what the Women for Gun Rights, used to be called the DC Project, came up with for, what do you call them? I guess billboards, going around on a mobile billboard around the Capitol for, I don't know, it doesn't say for how long. That's interesting. Looks like Chris over here is posting about his channel progress. 282 new subscribers. That's pretty decent. 79,000 views. That's just for the month, right? That's pretty decent. Or, I mean, yeah, that's the month. The only rights you'd have in this world are the ones you're willing to fight for. I don't know. Does that work for anybody? Watching Washington go across the Delaware to fight some Russian or from some English? All right, I'm going to quit looking at that stuff. We'll wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for joining us live. I'm going to throw a commercial up here for our store. I keep wanting to click on this, but I don't want to do it because it's a private message. But, you know, my reflex is to go click on this. I got to keep remembering I'm live here. So we'll wrap this thing up. Let's go back to the little puppy. Even though we didn't get any super chats, I'm not going to hold it against the puppy. I'm going to put this right in the dog's mouth anyway, as if there was a super chat, so he doesn't starve to death. Might have noticed that he was about to perspire from starvation, but we've given him reason to keep going. So thanks everybody for joining us. If you were about to super chat but you weren't able to because there was a problem with the YouTube or something, then you want to grab something from our store. Okay, we got a store also, so I'm going to throw a link up for that. If you want to subscribe and be one of the people that make it possible for us to do our projects here and on the internets, we have a link at the bottom here that says our Patreons make it possible for us to spend time on projects like this one. Thank you. So you can subscribe over on Patreon. Most people are giving us a cup of coffee each month, like $5. Some people are buying us lunch once a month, $25, and that adds up, accumulates, gives us the ability to work the servers and the software. Let us do what we're doing. We got some new software we're going to be acquiring here as soon as I pay off a bunch of big bills that are coming up. I just figured them out here at the end of this month. So as soon as those are paid, we're going to be starting some new software here, which will give us sort of a new ability depending on how we are able to use it. But again, thanks to our Patreons that make it possible for us to work on that. If you've got a project and you feel like you're alone out there, don't be. We've got coaching available every Tuesday. You can join us and ask whatever questions you might have. If you have something that you want to ask that's more private or just whatever you want to ask it in a more private setting, we've got coaching open hangouts available on Tuesdays. Just let us know you want to hang out. You can talk to me or Clover or both of us together, and we can answer questions about stuff from our decades of experience. But value your voice. You know, do what you want to do out there. Experiment, participate, and if it's frustrating or if you're having a challenge, like I say, don't feel like you're alone. Let people know. There's lots of people out there that are happy to see a project succeed and might be able to offer some advice or some direction. Let's see. My knees are all shot. All I did was work and nothing. Lots of projects half done, and knees are 6.5 weeks old, starting to move around again. Oh my goodness. I don't even know about all that. Like I remember when my grandma, I think, had her knees done, but that was so long ago. That must have been the 80s or 90s or something. It has to have progressed so much different since then. But still, I can't even imagine. I mean, they literally, it's some invasive stuff. Is that the right word? Like they really make some changes to you. So feel for you. Hopefully everything comes out as good as possible. I'll wiggle this dog's leg around. It's some sort of voodoo thing to make you'll get some of these little puppy joint vibes out of this little dog's kicking. Hopefully that helps. Otherwise, this is an indication that he needs another shock collar put on. we're gonna be testing shot collars this afternoon. So thanks everybody for joining us.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
Hold on, puppy. We gotta wait for the other live show. Just a second. Hold on. Let me switch over to the other live show.